And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the This Week in the Tech Boy podcast. We have so much to get into today. Sora 2 has come out, and people are mad. They're using the tool for all sorts of things. We're going to look into some of these videos that are coming out of Sora 2. Of course, OpenAI and Grok and all these AI companies have decided that iOS, for some reason, is the future when it decidedly is not. I don't know why they are doing this, but I can't play with the tools because I do not have an iPhone. And we're also going to talk about cuss words in books and movies. Why are people doing this? It doesn't really make any sense. ChatGPT has unveiled new applications. Is this where we are as in the tech industry nowadays? And the Pixel 10 Fold has come out, and of course, Matt Walsh has some thoughts about artificial intelligence. First, let's get to our headlines from TheTechBoy.org. 3 tech articles today. This will be an AI-centric episode, so let's get to the first one where we talk about Jan AI. And it may have been seeming like that our videos are getting more less and less tech focus, as we're not really pulling away from tech, but we're trying to get into the space, as I was talking about on stream, on video yesterday. We're in this space, and this could be a great way to make friends. No one has applied to the techboy.org /teen applications as of now. So, we have to continue to create new videos, new articles so that people will apply to our service. And, I almost forgot about this. In a poll, 50-50 split. People want to focus on more teen spy content. So I'm the deciding tiebreaker on that one. Democracy rules, we're going to focus on that. So we need things like that. And this does tie into our artificial intelligence and video generation technologies. But anyway, let's talk about Jan AI. So as you guys know, one of my major fears is the internet having an outage. I mean, last week we talked about this island that undersea cable got cut, and bye-bye internet for them. They couldn't even communicate. And of course, because everything has been so reliant on the internet, everything is so interconnected, it didn't send them back to 1985, where they might have had phones, they might have had pagers, they might have been able to use the radio. Everything is now on the internet. Your phone is now on the VoIP system. Your pagers and phones have all been replaced by cell phones. Which I think it even cut cell phone service to them as well. Maybe they didn't have as good service anymore. What else was cut? Radio. Remember I was talking about that article where I'm trying to research what kind of technology what they're using for radio to maybe do live call-in shows. The internet is full of how you can do a live call-in show on your radio station, but guess what? It's all cloud-based. So, all the radio technology has moved to the cloud, and if you can't get out there and broadcast the way that you need to broadcast, you're not going to be able to communicate. Anyway, I digress. That's one of my major fears. We need to have some sort of a separate network, but there doesn't seem to be any instructions for that because we are so reliant on the internet. Also, our encyclopedias, for some reason, I don't understand. I have the set of 2004, I guess, World Book encyclopedias. I think they're pretty good. They're pretty information dense, except for on maybe some technical topics. But, it would be good. You can continuously update that. It's only about 600 something megabytes, which back then might have been a lot. I mean, that's over half a gigabyte of storage right there. But now, I mean, there's probably half gigabyte of storage in my, these aren't AirPods, but earbuds, right? I mean, half a gigabyte of storage is nothing. That's nothing nowadays. I mean, that's practically free if you think about it. But for some reason, they don't offer free downloadable offline encyclopedias to obtain knowledge in a easily structured way. Now, yes, there is Encarta from 2009, but I mean, that's almost 18 years old, which is insane. Almost 18 years old. So the information in there is outdated. And sure, there's Kiwix, but that's not officially supported. You can download Wikipedia and things on there, but it's not as organized as an encyclopedia should be. And when I compared the 2.2 gigabyte version of Encarta versus the 100 gigabyte version of Kiwix should have been lapping it. They should have been doing circles on it. Encarta was actually winning. For instance, Encarta has audio files of all the countries' national anthems in 2.2 gigabytes. It has a nice map. It has nice timelines. It has all these things that are integrated. It's not just an encyclopedia. It is a multimedia application. Something like this that doesn't even exist today. I mean, I was clicking on there, and it had this interesting map that was showing me the statistics of how many cell phones per person were per country. And, the developed countries are doing pretty well. The United States, in I think the data was taken in 2005, was about for every 1,000 people, there's about 700 cell phones. And in Israel, somehow there was more phones than people. I think it was 1.1 to 1. So for every 1,100 cell phones, there's 1,000 people. So there's people out there with two cell phones, almost like the entire country had a cell phone. And, it was all there, no ads, no pop-ups, and it worked perfectly well offline 18 years into the future. Keywix would work, but it's not as data relevant. My point is that the internet and artificial intelligence, as the internet is hurtling towards that, and as it is being completely taken over by artificial intelligence, which I believe is a net positive, is going to need to have some of these offline models. Because one of the fears that some people are bringing up, which is a legitimate fear, is that once people forget how to do some things, then people could just turn off the artificial intelligence and then they won't be able to do it. Now, a good counterpoint to that is, of course, electricity. Like, let's say someone turned off the electricity, it would send us back to the 1800s, and we would, very fail at daily life because electricity is now seen as an essential to daily living. Artificial intelligence, not so much, but maybe in the next 10 to 20 years, definitely. Anyway, that's why it's important to have some of these models offline. So I tested out this model called Jan Artificial Intelligence, and I ran a model. It was about 2 gigabytes on here. And just for context, I'm running this on a HP Envy X360 with an Intel Evo i7 processor and 32 gigabytes of RAM. So the times that I use on here for Gemini, I compared it against Gemini, are probably going to be the same across the board as long as you have the same-ish internet speed. To Jan, I'm not sure, depending on how much RAM, depending on your processor, depending on the model that you choose to use. Anyway, I chose the first model that they use, Jan AI, just jan.ai. You go down there, you download the application, you check it out, you download the model. It's a pre-trained model. You don't have to do any training, and it's just a large language model. And I asked it some questions. Here are the questions I asked it. What is the capital of Texas? Austin. I asked it to write me a 3-paragraph essay on the creation of the iPhone, and I asked it to revise a draft of this article up to this point, because obviously the rest hadn't been written yet. And this is what I use artificial intelligence for all the time, not asking it basic questions like this, but maybe asking it to edit into my articles. Anyway, here we go. The first question. I do not know why my thing is doing that, but anyway. The first question was about the great state of Texas. Jan AI, for some reason, actually did pretty well. But it had to think for some reason. I think maybe I can show this on the screen later. But it said that the capital of Texas was Austin in 3 seconds. But it had to internally think, is it Austin? It had to go in and fact check whatever it was doing. It doesn't have access to the web. It didn't have access to the internet. So it's going in. It took 20 seconds to fact check what the capital of Texas is. Something that would be a very easy 1 second Google search. Gemini, it only did this in less than 3 seconds. So it was pretty well. So it did it in 26 seconds. Google's Gemini took 3.75 seconds, 7 times faster. When I asked for an essay on the iPhone, it took 1 minute and 35 seconds for an entire essay, 3-paragraph essay. That's actually a pretty good time for your computer to create something out of nothing with no connection to the internet, no GPUs, anything like that. I think that's pretty good. Now I want you guys to rank this. We're going to go read the Jan's essay on the creation of the iPhone. I just asked it for a 3-paragraph essay, obviously 3 paragraphs. I didn't change anything. I just wrote Jan essay here and copy-pasted it in here. Quote, the creation of the iPhone began in the early 2000s as a vision for Apple to merge phone functionality with advanced computing capabilities. Steve Jobs, then Apple's CEO, became increasingly passionate about developing a phone that's a computer, inspired by early prototypes like the iPod Touch and the growing demand for mobile internet. Over nearly a decade of intense collaboration between Apple's engineering team, including key figures like John Scavone and Jeff Cook, the iPhone evolved from a conceptual idea into a tangible product. By 2007, after countless iterations and rigorous testing, Apple had refined a sleek, intuitive device that combined a touchscreen interface, mobile internet access, and a revolutionary operating system, setting the stage for its groundbreaking debut. You guys can finish on to the next 2 paragraphs. Now, one of the things I am noticing here is that it does use lots of M dashes, lots of hyphens here, so you can tell that it is artificially intelligence generated, because that is one of the tells of AI technology. Also, when I was reading that, it actually didn't really have that tone that ChatGPT has. I can usually pick up on the tone if someone wrote something with ChatGPT or any of the artificial intelligence program. Anyway, Here's Gemini will read its first paragraph. This is the Gemini essay. The introduction of the iPhone by Steve Jobs in January 2007 was less an invention of a completely new technology and more of a brilliant unification and reimagining of interesting concepts. At the time, mobile devices were dominated by clunky feature phones and cumbersome early smartphones that relied heavily on stylus input or complex physical keyboards. Apple's internal development effort, often referred to as Project Purple, sought to eliminate these barriers by prioritizing a simple, intuitive user experience. The thesis of the iPhone's creation was the most powerful device should be easiest to use, resulting in the elimination of nearly all hardware buttons behind and the radical decision to replace the keyboard with the dynamic multi-touch display. As you can see here, Gemini was more, I guess, going back into history and giving an overall synopsis in its first paragraph. Also looks like it generated more material. But 1 minute, 35 seconds is nothing to scoff at for something that's completely offline, completely generated. Now, Gen AI, when it was revising this article, did not do well on time. I mean, it only had to revise about like a few sentences, and it took 3 minutes and 28 seconds. And ironically, in its research when it was fact checking my article, it said that the user mentions, quote, that Gen AI, but I think the name might be wrong. There's no major AI model called Gen AI, which is really funny seeing it's inside of its own application, Gen AI. And you can see this is a screenshot directly taken from Gen AI. Gemini, for its part, was able to revise this in 5 seconds, 2 rewrites in 5 seconds, and it did realize the legitimacy of Gen AI. So that is an interesting comparison here. I want you guys to know what you think about the artificial intelligence program, Gen AI. All right, another artificial intelligence program here for us today, Zoom Enhance. This is the upscaling image here. As you guys know, I've used this program before. Television shows also show pictures getting enhanced, and this is a completely free software. And I'm so glad you don't have to use the cloud. You don't have to use some random Linux dependency. It is just a nice exe, and it works perfectly fine, perfectly well. No, there is a cloud version if you want it, but you don't need to do it. And I think it did a great job. I'm going to show you an image. This is from the internet. So this is what would happen if you search my old logo on the internet. Notice how you can see the pixelation and how the black isn't completely black. But on this side, the words are very legible. They probably could be scanned if you wanted them to. And the corners are not messed up, right? The corners aren't too badly messed up or garbled. The black is turned into sort of a gray, and my logo is actually straightened out like this, which is actually a good thing. You can see how over in this corner here, which is basically a mirror image of each other, you can see in this corner here and this circle here are so badly garbled, but these have nice straight lines right here, and it did it in such a great amount of time. Now, sometimes I don't like to go past 4 times or 6 times zoom because sometimes it will look too AI, too upscaled. I mean, you can notice here in the 4 times zoom that the U in the USA hat, which you can clearly see. I'm going to see if I can put it here. Yeah, like you can clearly see in the U is fully visible. The U in the USA hat is just missing. That is not in the original image. Also, notice how the text sometimes gets garbled here. Like you kind of see that this says Spy Tools, maybe, but you have no idea what this sounds. It looks like it was flipped. Some of these lines, they kind of look, I don't know, messed up here. But, for some of the bigger text, this is great. I mean, you can go here and go look at the original graphic that was made in Canva, and it would be basically maybe a 1-to-1 ratio or standard here. But also look at my face. Did a great job. You can still see the Disney Channel or the Good Luck Charlie thing here in the upscaled version compared to the Restream logo that's completely garbled and messed up here. So anyway, this is a great piece of technology. It has great upscaling abilities, and I'm so glad that it is completely free to us for us to use. But that is upscaling, and I finally got around to doing the review of the Motorola walkie-talkie. So I'm just going to give you a simple review of these. We're not going to go into the article. I'm just going to go the good and the bad. So the good of these walkie-talkies is that it's able to chat over radio waves. You've seen that video before where I intercepted my text messages. I forgot to mention this in the article, but the battery comes out pretty easily. But I do like that it has this lock on the back of it, so they don't fall out. These are also pretty durable. I've dropped them multiple times. Not a scratch, not a scuff, and they have basically made out of rubber and plastic. So practically indestructible, has a good amount of channels, 22 channels and 121 sub channels, so you shouldn't be getting any interference. and they have a decent application and good battery life. Now, for the bad of these walkie-talkies is they say that they can transmit 25 miles in an open field. Now, I don't know where you're going to find an open field to transmit 25 miles, but what I do know is that in a city, it does not transmit past 1 mile, at least when I was doing my testing. So I can't test against the field range, but inside, I mean, they usually say about 25 for a mile, 25 in a field, 3 in the city or in congestion, anything like this. And yeah, it didn't even get past 3. And in the woods, you know, there are trees. Quote of the year right there, in the woods, there are trees. Those would act like the buildings that would be blocking the signal, so I wouldn't know about how well it would do if you got separated within over a mile from your team. Again, I'm not going to send people out into the woods and do this. I don't have people for that, which we will get into. That's one of the reasons why artificial intelligence is good. One of the other reasons these are bad is because of the complete and total lack of PC support. Now, I do know that this is supposed to be for like the wilderness thing, but why is there no way that you can chat over radio waves on your computer when we know full well that the iSpy walkie-talkies, they didn't have as good of a range, but remember, these are from years ago, and they're not using cell phone technology. They're using just basic, I'm trying to type this in. They're using basic radio technology. I'm trying to pull up the iSpy walkie-talkie. Keep saying I'm trying to type in easy. No, not easy. Yeah, here it is. The iSpy Lynx surveillance walkie-talkie. They had a keyboard built in. They had video chat built in. They had all these features built in. I'm going to show this on the screen with you guys. And it was able to transmit over radio waves. And iSpy wasn't sitting around and being like, oh, I can't transmit this stuff without a computer. Now, yeah, these iSpy couldn't transmit without a computer, but you also didn't need a phone. This was all on device. And you can see on the camera, you even had video chat built in. And of course, in 2016, SpyGear had their technology on there as well. So there should be no excuse for a company like Motorola, not just some spy toy company, but an actual company to not have any sort of PC link up. This makes zero sense. And even if there is no open source software, and you know how bad it is. I'm going out for open source. There's no open source software. There's no web software. There's no project that's able to transmit this. And I've proven that you can intercept the radio messages. I hooked up my SDR to it and proved it is interceptable. And I'm pretty much doubting that they are encrypted, okay? These aren't governmental walkie-talkies. And people have been able to transmit things over the air, over the radio for years on now, right? It's only for the past, 30 years that we've been doing things over the internet. So there should be a way that you should be able to hook these up to a PC. They don't even allow you to do it with the PC emulator because there's Bluetooth. The Bluetooth support is just not there. And I think it's disgusting what this is. You should be able to have this on your device. And I think this is a sideline of the lack of innovation that we are seeing today. And if we were going to transfer into a spy gear themed company, then how are we supposed to do these sorts of reviews and articles without the technology that was in 2012 being around today? Like I said, we need to bring back the spy talkies. I think that was from 2024, 2025, early 2025. But anyway, watch this ad here and see what you notice. I think this is from 2000. It's from 11 years ago, 2013. Watch what you are seeing here, maybe in the pre-smartphone era. Not pre-smartphone. Smartphones obviously existed. We just talked about the iPhone, but just watch.
Hey everybody, Adrian here, and this is my bud Gabe. Haha, yo! Today we're telling you what's up with spy gear. Check it out, the Panosphere 360 Spy Cam.
This baby shoots crazy 360-degree footage with a special lens.
It literally records every direction at once.
There's lots of ways you can get your shot.
Look at the editing, by the way. Such good editing. I've always wondered how they do the spy-themed editing that they do in some of these commercials and some of these stories.
It's what we used to slide it.
Or you can strap it to something like a backpack. Like earlier today, we strapped it to a bike handle. When you're done shooting, you can connect.
Notice here. Notice it. This is the thing that I want you guys to notice, is that we had innovation and prestige and just genuine interest in here. They didn't say, oh, we can connect this to your regular computer and just get this. No, you had this nice analysis software that is apparently dead. I've been looking for it all over. I was able to find the link, but the link is dead. So hopefully I can get that on the way back machine. I've been looking for it all over, but look at this software. Doesn't this look so cool? And you can even see, I know this is kind of blurry, the file tree. So you know this is real. The file tree coming down and connecting, you can move and pan around on the Spike here software. This is what we have lost, and we've replaced it with everything with just, maybe some web-based tools or something of that nature. And when this innovation has died, this is the final. I think AI is probably the final frontier of innovation. Because think about it, smartphones and cell phones have been essentially the same thing for the past multiple years, and that we've kind of hit peak until artificial intelligence came along, and it's what's keeping me in this business. Like I said on stream yesterday, personally, I would still believe some of the things that I believe in, make some of the same videos, but not as much because, if it was up to me, I'd be out there, making videos like this with kids, with friends or whatever. I'd be out there, running out on my own missions and making videos and skits like the, I'll show you the skit later, the pumpkin patch match dance skits. I mean, doesn't that look like so much fun? But, I cannot do that. And the only way for me to become friends with some of these kids is to make some of those videos. So I think that is a fair trade because it's something that I actually believe in, and it's not something that I'm weaponized for personal or political gain. Like some of these actors that I was reacting to were on stream yesterday. But the other thing is that these people who dislike artificial intelligence don't really realize that this company is built on artificial intelligence out of genuine interest, because this is a tech company, and also out of necessity. Let's look at the statistics for the TechBoy Media. Matt Walsh has been going on and on about how he dislikes artificial intelligence and how he wants legislation to ban it or something like that because he didn't like the SOAR videos that were populating the internet. Anyway, let's look at the statistics for the TechBoy Media. Started in 2020 in July, and from July to December, I think we had about 12 articles. And for the rest of the full year, we had so from 2020, half of 2022, the rest of 2021, maybe even into 2022, we had about 30 articles. Now, ChatGPT comes out November 2022, and guess what? We now have an article schedule of we now have an article schedule of 3 articles a week, sometimes even 4 if you don't count if you count some of the videos that we post or some of the reposts of YouTube videos. 3 articles a week, and that has been aided and assisted by artificial intelligence, because now we don't have to actually go in and manually sit there and edit the articles. We don't have to go in and manually sit there and do anything like that. We can just write an article quickly, easily, even on my phone, which has a horribly inaccurate keyboard for some reason, and we can upload it to ChatGPT or Grok or whatever, and you can come back and look how to edit and get it in. And most of those articles are written by yours truly. They're written by me. Now, some of those articles from the newsroom and the press releases, those are obviously written completely by artificial intelligence. So I'm not going to sit there and go read about Samsung's K-pop Demon Hunter press release and go actually give an article care about it. It's just that, for SEO, we need articles, because it is so hard to come up with article ideas nowadays, because everything has been the exact same thing. And obviously, we don't make enough money to go out there and buy, the latest iPhone and go review it and say how trash it is. We go, it's trash. But also, if we want to compete with these people, like we've said, that's why we launched Ava Harper. But if we want to compete with these people genuinely, we can't go out there and go hire a bunch of actors to go do something like the Pumpkin Patch Match Dance. We can't hire a bunch of people to go out there and do what we saw in the Spy Kids skit. We can't hire a bunch of people to go out there and do that. And I know you people are going to be like, oh, you guys, let's go make friends. Just go out there and talk to people. Yeah, that doesn't work like this, okay? It doesn't work, okay? The friends, like I said, are not going to spawn. This isn't Roblox. So what we are going to use artificial intelligence for is to compete against these people. How are we supposed to compete against people who have actual people that we cannot hire? Okay, they have the people advantage, but we have the tech advantage. That's what we do here at the TechBoy Media. And ever since artificial intelligence has gone on, we have expanded exponentially in our progress. Like I said, only 30 articles over 1.5 years to 180 articles every year, maybe even 200 every year if you count some of the things that we do, as well as a podcast episode. Since August 2022, we have not missed a week podcast episode. So, I'd say that the advent of artificial intelligence has been a net good for this company. Let's talk about the SSA LTW book. Right, I'm going to turn that into a movie. Maybe want to turn that into a television series. What do we see here? I can obviously not go out there and hire a whole bunch of teen actors. I don't know any kids or teens that would want to be in this movie, and we can't do anything like that. But maybe when this AI video generation technology gets out there, maybe in 2026, we can do this. Because obviously, look, I can't go out there and hire a bunch of teen actors. We have we spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on digital ads across Instagram, Snapchat, the Tomball newspapers, some other high school newspaper, Prosper High School newspaper, and only 2 people have signed up, and I don't even know what state they're in. And when I sent them emails, they didn't even respond. So obviously, the thing is that we have this bubble around us that is preventing us from being great and being able to get out there and meet some of these people. And the only way that we're going to meet some of these people is either we get really, really big, which is why we have to make constant videos every day. Which obviously we can't do that in tech all the time. I mean, the tech industry is simultaneously booming and dying. So, I have to come up with some other topic like that, which is why we've done the Christian kind of comedy content, and also artificial intelligence. Unless Matt Walsh wants to hire a whole bunch of people to work for us for me for free, we're gonna have to use them to replace it. It's not like I'm using artificial intelligence to replace anybody. I'm using it to replace an editor who I would not have hired in the first place. I'm using it to replace, I guess, a model or a brand representative who I definitely would not have hired or known in the first place. And I'm using it to replace people, hopefully, in a movie, people who have not signed up to be. I mean, if they want to be in the movie, they could have signed up anytime. Okay, it's not like they don't know about this. These videos have gotten thousands and thousands of views. Videos that I have paid good money to blanket the internet with, and they haven't done anything like that. And Matt Walsh's whole take on this is that it's not real. It doesn't have any soul or anything like that. And I think that's what his fundamental disagreement is I don't care if it's real. I care if it's good. If someone can make a great show like Zoe 101 or iCarly or Casey Undercover or Antform or whatever with which is totally artificially intelligence generated, and it's as good as those shows, then I wouldn't care. First of all, it means that your actors and actresses aren't going to do or say something crazy, and you have to write them off the show. They're not going to age out. You can't write them off the show. And you can have the show for as many seasons as you want. You can do what you want, and it doesn't cost as much money. Now you may say, "Oh, it doesn't have the heart behind it. Doesn't have the soul behind it." I don't care about the heart and soul behind a product that I am consuming. I care about, is the product good? Like the Samsung phone here. I'm not sitting around here and thinking about what Samsung was thinking about the environment and the icebergs in Antarctica over here. I've criticized Samsung for this before, but or like that in 2021 when they released the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, and they were going on and on and on about how their phone was the blackest phone that has ever been black in the history of phones, and how the phone had this great deep black color, and they sat around for 7 months thinking about how they were going to build the phone and make it good, and they went to some guy to etc. This whole life story. I do not care about the history of the color on my phone. I just want to know, is it good or is it bad? Now, Apple is a lot worse at this. Okay, they'll tell the entire brand story on why they changed their thing to liquid glass. I don't care. Is it good or is it bad? I don't care about the heart behind the software of the phone. I don't care about the heart behind the hardware of the phone. And the same goes to television. The same goes for an article. The same goes for a book. I don't care about the heart behind the book as long as it's not with evil intent. I care about the book itself, the phone itself. Does it work? That is my one thing. Does it work? Is it good? Is it passable? Yes, and yes. Then I like the book. I like the phone. I like the product or the service. Does it work? Is my motto. Okay. I don't care why it works. I don't care how you made it. I don't really care. Just make sure it works. Make sure it works. Like they say for Apple, it just works. But Apple in their releases to be like, it just works, but I'm going to give you the entire backstory of why and how and when it just works, etc. That's probably one of the reasons why I can't get behind, Linux. And I bet Matt Walsh isn't behind Linux at all. it's just the people in the Linux community are going on and on and on. I don't care. I want Linux to work. I want for when my program installs, I want it to run without having to install whole 50 million dependencies and having to go browse GitHub. It's ridiculous. So essentially, in a nutshell, here are the reasons why I am for AI. It has exponentially increased my productivity, gone from 30 articles in 1.5 years to 180 articles every year. And it can help me replace people that I do not already have access to. Like I have said multiple times, if I knew these people and I was friends with these people and they were friends with me and we did this, then and they wanted to be in a video, it'd be great. They'd be in videos. Like, maybe replacing them with artificial intelligence avatars, that'd be great. You know, I would, if I knew these people, I wouldn't be spending thousands and thousands of dollars to go on ad hunts to go find these people. You think I'd be running forums on my website for that? No, that's not how this works. Do you think I'd be going out there and making a video every day so that, you know, the Instagram account goes higher and, you know, can meet some of our quote unquote competitors that, you know, I see, well, not secretly, I'm like saying it live on stream here, that I admire. So, you know, competitors to a potential friend, who knows? No, I wouldn't be doing that because I already would have succeeded, which is why I think that some of these people, you know, that's why I think that even despite the bubble of insignificance that surrounds this company, I think that my ambition will help power us through. The people that have already obtained the success through just, I don't know, a few pictures, maybe they got quote unquote lucky or something. You know, they have an easy 6,000 followers, and they, you know, they just have like 4 photos, and they're in the book of Corinthians. Hey guys, and you know, they post one picture and comes into the comments, right? They don't have to really want for anything. They don't have to be ambitious. They don't really have to fight for anything like that. I'm not saying that they're lazy. I'm just saying that their ambition is probably not as high as mine. So, you know, despite the bubble of irrelevance that surrounds this company and keeps me under 100 for some reason, like right now, there's one person watching this podcast right now, right? When I finally am able to get up to the level, or at least close enough to the level that they acknowledge I exist, I'll have ambition and fight, and people are going to see that, and people are going to admire that, and maybe we can collab. You know, they have the views, they have the stats, they have the power, and I have the ambition. We collab, we come together, and it's great. You know, it's a win-win situation for everything. I bring the ambition and the tech skills, and you bring whatever you brought to the table to get your 6,000 Instagram followers. I mean, it's amazing, and you know, we could team up. All right. Anyway, speaking of the pumpkin patch match dance, I want to show you what I'm talking about. Right, this is the. This is a thing someone's basically simulating what a television show would be like in the early 2000s. This is someone simulating what the a TV show in the early 2000s would be like. And this is what I'm saying. This is what I have to use artificial intelligence for, right? What am I supposed to find these people, okay? Here's an example. Matt, here we go.
DJ Tanner is about to pick me up for the pumpkin patch match dance.
Probably only asked you.
And just notice here, just to be able to get that one shot, I have to go find some random kid. You know how hard it is to find some random kid like that? Extremely, extremely hard. Okay, so Sora over here, when they finally come over to Android, would be very helpful. Okay, maybe I could be him, but I still have to be the person he's.
He feels bad for nailing you in the face with a dodgeball the other day in gym class.
I've never seen a ball ricochet off of somebody's face into the hoop before. It was epic.
Oh, also, I need to hire someone to be the cameraman. So what I'm seeing here is just a lot of work and a lot of people that I do not have and things that I cannot do. And they're not going to magically and majestically spawn out of thin air. So that is another benefit for artificial intelligence.
Whatever, dweebs. You two are just jealous no girl has ever said yes to going to the dance with you two before.
Please, like we would ever go to some stupid pumpkin smash bash dance.
It's called the Pumpkin Patch Match Dance, not whatever that was. Anyway, I'm gonna go wait outside before you two get the chance to embarrass me.
Trust me, you don't need us to embarrass you. You'll do a great job at that on your own.
Also, think about the script. Think about the scripting. ChatGPT, could have done that now. ChatGPT has been acting so weird. So I do my own personal edits as well. But think about how much faster I could do this if I had access to this technology, rather than having to go out there and pay thousands of dollars and hit nothing. But let's say I paid $1 million. We aired an ad at the Super Bowl, and at the Super Bowl we get 3 people. That is millions of dollars in debt just to take this. Like, I mean, okay, no.
You only won because I lost.
That's kind of how it works.
Josh, weren't you supposed to be at the pumpkin patch dance like an hour ago?
He never showed up. I can't
Wait,
believe I'm so
again?
stupid for actually thinking he liked me.
There's no rewind,
Go
so.
away.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
That we show up to his house and make him pay by stealing his dog?
No. But hold that thought.
M'lady.
What are you two doing?
You seriously didn't think we'd let you miss the pumpkin spice rice dance because some loser didn't
Pumpkin
show up for
spice rice dance.
you, did you?
It's called the... Never mind. You two are the best.
We know. Now let's go. I have a dance battle to get into.
Also, in the next episode, his excuse is that his grandma was sick and his dog stole his phone and his toddler went missing. It is the most long, convoluted excuse of all time. I can't believe that they actually fell for that, if it's actually true. Now let's get into the Pixel 10. I think Mr. is the boss. Did it? If not, no? Oh, it was MKB's did it. All right, let's talk about the Pixel 10. Hope you guys can see this on the screen. And my computer has been acting so slow lately. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm genuinely considering installing Chrome OS on this thing. I'm not even a fan of Chrome OS, but, you know, I am kind of a fan, but I'm not a fan of it, you know, in schools or whatever. But I digress. My computer should be able to handle it. I'm thinking about, like, dual booting Chrome OS on this thing. It would be very secure. It'd be fine with that. Like I said, the problem is all we do is web browsing, so might as well stick with that. All the video editors for Windows are trash or slow. You got Clipchamp over here for some reason that only works online on a computer that has 32 gigabytes of RAM, which makes 0 sense. I don't know why Clipchamp can't work offline. These offline video editors either have ads or they have watermarks and horrible features. Or lack of features, and some of these are slow and confusing to use or super duper expensive. When I have this great video editor, you know, IG Edits is one of the best video editing applications of all time. Motion Ninja, you know, I can install that on there. But for some reason, you know, you can't do that. But, you know, for Chromebook, you can install Android apps, and I'll probably be able to tap into the full power of my computer if I didn't have to use some stupid emulator. Hey, maybe with the Chrome OS, we can even use the Motorola to talk about walkie-talkies and get that on the computer. Wow, we got our first chat. Someone's calling in today. Let's see who's chatting. Star-Lord says, good morning. That's great. It's 12:47 over here. Anyway, I could get full access to Instagram too, but for all the videos that we have to upload there, but I can get full access to all my things there. And hey, maybe installing Chrome OS on the computer would help get us out of the bubble of irrelevance. You know, there's this bubbles like this. You know, we're yapping into the void over here. Like I was talking about, how that woman was pretending to like that, you know, she can speak things to power and prophesy, speaking things it was as if they were not. You know, she was completely insane. And you know, I spent 90 minutes making those videos. I didn't even want to edit her because this thing happened. See, even Starload's images. You have Instagram? I'm like, yes, I have it. Wait a second. Starload. Over the past multiple days, I have been yapping about the Insta-Kids and how the Insta-Kids are in Glaze Force 1 and how the Insta-Kids are and how we're outcompeting them. And for like 5 weeks, we have been doing this thing called Teen of the Week, where we pick a teen off of Instagram, and we spin a spinner, and then we pick them and react to their video in the vain hopes that then they will see the video, like the video, and then sign the form. So, see, this once again shows how we are stuck in the bubble of irrelevance, where one of our top fans has no idea that we exist. So sad. It's genuinely sad and pathetic. All right, moving on to the Pixel Pro Fold.
So I've been thinking about this concept a lot lately. There's tons of folding phones out now. It's been a category for a little while, and we're expecting a folding iPhone soon. It'll probably reinvigorate.
And then every YouTuber is gonna be like, "Wow, I never needed the folding phone before this, but now it's on an iPhone." Woo!
Category, and I actually don't think that the concept of a Pixel and the concept of a folding phone are actually really compatible.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Samsung, but I'm kind of mad at them for this entire secure folder debacle. I mean, they completely booked secure folder. There's no circle to search in it, which again, how am I supposed to find out what people's outfits are? Like, we are already at a disadvantage. You cannot disadvantage me by taking away circle to search. So, okay, I'm not going to sit around and take 3-hour-long Lululemon classes to take away my circle search. No. And also, you have removed the ability to swipe down from the bar and open up applications in pop-up view. I even have the flag turned on to have most of them. And it makes zero to have most of them work, and that makes zero sense. It's like Secure Folder became its own application in and of itself, but it works differently. So it's simultaneous, more secure and less secure. He has Instagram. You just have to follow me on there. Oh, that's great, because we made tons of videos over there that get 100 views. Anyway, going to the Google Pixel Pro Fold.
And that's okay. So hear me out. The idea of a Pixel is very specific. Like, we've seen it for the past couple years now. It's a super smart phone. Like, it's never really been a super high.
Yeah, and the problem with this is probably I would never get to see the benefit of a Pixel personally, because I keep everything in my secure folder for security reasons, and that means that I don't use Gmail or anything. I like to use the Samsung email client, so I don't use all the Google apps. I don't use Google Docs, because it's kind of weird that you can't lock your own Google Doc and encrypt your Google Docs. You have to, just like, oh, your Google Docs open up in your browser, and anyone can access them.
High-end piece of hardware. It's never had the best screen or the best chip or the best battery or the best cameras, but just a ton of great, clever software that the everyday person can appreciate. And more often, lately than ever, also a pretty good deal. But then the idea of a folding phone, well, this is inherently niche. Like, this is going to be a premium priced, premium built piece of bleeding edge hardware for the people that want.
Except for the cameras, for some reason. I mean, in most folding phones, the camera is actually a step down from their flagship counterpart. The S25 cameras are better than the Z Fold 7, for instance.
The absolute most from their phone. They use their phone so much they have two different styles of phone in one. And it might cost $2,000 to get that. So Pixel and folding phone are like opposites. They're at odds with each other. But that didn't stop Google from making another nearly $2,000 folding phone. And so I've been using it, and as someone who really likes Pixels and as someone who likes folding phones, I like it. But I do understand that there are very few people who I can recommend this to. So the biggest change versus last year's Pixel Fold, no joke, is the new hinge. It's been re-engineered, so there are both aesthetic and functional improvements. It's now gearless, and it's much smaller. So now the bezel to the left of the cover screen is much thinner.
Also, talking about the Pixel Fold again, I'm going to talk about this all the time. I've seen this going on, trending online. But why does this exist? Are you expecting to cut a piece of bread? You think, like, is there an antenna in there? All the other folding phone companies figured out how to not have this. Yeah, you remind me of that stupid HMD phone that's a oval within a box. Okay, Windows phone called, and they said that they wanted their design back. And also, one of the things I do not like about Google is that for your launcher, this is all fixed. So this button here is fixed, which is fine, I guess. But if you don't want it there, maybe you want it here, or don't want it there, maybe you want to use a different search engine. Don't know why you would, but if you did, you can't move it. That's one of the reasons I would stick with Samsung. One UI is truly the most customizable aspect. I mean, look at my home screen here, people. Okay, look how unorganized this is.
And it's closer to even all the way around, and it has this nice, smooth motion, a satisfying, kind of heavy resistance. It's a nice hinge. Shout out to the hinge engineers. The hinge-engineers, I guess. So this makes room for the next best thing about this phone, which is these new displays. So you can maybe already tell this outside cover display is a little bit bigger. It's 6.4 inches, and it's also a good amount brighter, one of my favorite trends in phones this year. So 3000 nits is the new
That is actually a pretty good feature. It would be pretty useful to me.
max, and it looks really good in basically any conditions. Then you open it up, and the inside 8-inch screen is brighter too. Now, not much else is different. It still has a selfie camera cut out.
Also, I do not like that skin of software. Again, why it stay with One UI. But, you know, the battery life and the secure folder, ugh.
In the corner, it still has that aggressively medium bezel all the way around, and it still
I do not know why this exists. Seriously. 2017 called, they want their design back.
has that very visible crease through the middle that you can easily feel with your finger, but you kind of learn to live with over time. So then the next best thing about this phone is probably Pixel Snap. So the magnets in the back that they've added to every Pixel to give them Qi 2 wireless charging, but also have them snap to literally any MagSafe accessory, elite. It's awesome. They made some of their own Pixel Snap accessories, of course, but the fact that every Pixel 10 in the lineup can snap to a MagSafe charger or a dock or anything you can buy right now or might already have is so dope. And even though this
I mean, that's nice, but I mean, it's kind of like you're piggybacking right off of Apple's dominance here in the United States. That wouldn't be really useful in, you know, Europe.
folding Pixel is a bit heavier than the average phone, it does still stay up in the car dash, no problem. That was one of my concerns coming in. There are also some other tiny
That's good because, you know, it's basically two phones in one, like maybe 1.5 phones.
changes, like the SIM card tray, which is still here, has moved up to the top of the phone, and you can also now go up to a terabyte of storage.
That is better than Samsung at the bottom. I don't know why they have it right down there with the microphones and the speakers. Title Better Sports, that's nice because I probably need that because my phone, I only have 30 gigs left and I have 512.
Storage. Now, we already learned that this Tensor G5 chip, which is new for this generation, was kind of a letdown power-wise. Like, it's nowhere near the most powerful chips in phones right now.
Does it really matter though? Depends on the apps, I guess. But again, name names. Name them.
But they did pair it with 16 gigs of RAM because it's a multitasking foldable, so that makes sense. So yeah, I was let down by the power levels, but I would say I was pleasantly surprised by the battery life and the
Good. I want to know how good the battery life is. Screen on, screen off. Well, not screen in and screen out, sorry.
efficiency. Because the battery life of this phone was actually really solid. Effectively, when you're using it closed a lot, it's like a slightly phone with a relatively small 6.4-inch display, and it's a 5,015 milliamp hour battery. So using it like that, I was getting like 6 hours of screen on time.
That's not. I mean, that's fine, I guess. But that's with the display closed. That's not acceptable.
No problem every single day. Of course, mileage varies pretty directly with the amount of time you spend unfolded, where it can chew through battery faster. But there's no question that the extra room inside, thanks to the thinner hinge, was put pretty directly towards battery, and it turns out to be a surprising strength of this phone.
Also, that software, again, it just looks very dated. And I know this is what they consider stock Android. I'm not a fan of stock Android, honestly.
Was put pretty directly towards battery, and it turns out to be a surprising strength of this phone. Worth it. Shout out again to the Hingineers. Also, did I mention this is the first foldable ever to be fully IP68 water and dust resistant? You better believe that's also because of that hinge. So using the Pixel 10 Pro Fold closed, it's pretty good. Everything I liked about Pixel 10s is still here. It's all the Android.
I don't know if this is lag or slowness. It's just my computer is just really messing up today. I don't know why this happens to me.
Android 16 features, the Material 3 expressive aesthetics and the animations, and then all the AI features, call screening, now playing, all of that. Super smart smartphone. Plus the new longer battery life, like I said. So then opening it up, just like every
Oh yeah, I saw this Gemini commercial, and this person was pointing their phone at a garbage truck, and they're like, "What is this?" And then they were like, "It's a garbage truck, not a convertible." Dumbest commercial.
other foldable, I get inspired to be way more productive. Like, I start doing things I would never do normally on a phone, like organizing travel, buying plane tickets, and doing
You wouldn't buy plane tickets on a phone? What do you use your phone for? I use my phone for almost everything, even video editing.
things side by side, like email triage with schedule building on my calendar. Like, I just get this itch to crush my to-do list and be productive because I have all this real estate now. There isn't anything particularly new.
I think that is what the frontier is. It's just like these people your phone, if they had a bigger screen on it, they do everything on it. I do everything on my phone regardless, but that's kind of how applications are done. And they keep talking about productivity, like a task manager and a calendar. And he probably wrote something on there too in Word. Like all that stuff is done over the internet, over like some thin client mobile applications. It's not really that they care about all this technology and all these features that are on their phones and on their MacBooks. I'm always going to come back to this. Those kids who are in the Chick-fil-A using their MacBooks just for, basic stuff, writing the Google Docs on it. It's just that the only reason computers still exist today is that they have bigger screens than phones and tablets. And I think that's kind of sad.
New or special about Android on this folding screen, of course, there's still side-by-side apps and the taskbar and dock thing at the bottom. But after that, it feels like it's really just what you make of it. But also, surprise, this Pixel is clearly still not a hardware leader in any way. Like it's still kind of a chunky foldable phone, which is very noticeable when compared to a lot.
Oh yeah, I've seen the Z Fold 7 in person. So slim.
Of these newer ultra thin folding phones. And it's also noticeably heavier. So the slightly uncomfortable feeling that you get while using
with that if it had a better battery and they could, cut off some
phone
of that
closed,
weight.
which
If they shaved off these stupid rabbit ears.
Let's be real, is how you're going to be using it a lot. That's important. And so you could argue that that is a sacrifice that's necessary for such good battery life, but I just think the ergonomics are right up there on top of the list for most important things about a foldable. And this isn't like a silicon carbon battery or anything that charges particularly fast either. And so the newer foldables just feel more pleasant to use, even when open too. The lighter weight makes a difference. The thinner bezels make a difference. The lesser creases on other foldables makes a difference too. This is also essentially the exact same cameras as last year, which...
That's terrible. Especially we have this huge island up here.
Is to say almost flagship quality. Like it's just a half step down.
It's $2,000, $1,799 for the cheapest model. It should have better quality.
From the Pixel flagships, despite how big this camera plateau is. So just have a little less detail and a little more noise and a little less ability in low...
I can't really comment on these because remember these have been compressed.
Light shooting scenarios. And the 10 megapixel selfie cameras on the cover and inside screens are just not that great at all, unfortunately. And then the Tensor G5 is decently efficient, like I said, and using the phone has been smooth, and I have no complaints with regular everyday use, but this doesn't hold a candle to the Snapdragon 8 Elite for the most powerful stuff. Or it's about to get replaced by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. I don't know why it's called that, but still. So the point is, in the competitive $2,000 price segment for smartphones, like people rightfully start cross-shopping a lot and expecting the absolute max from their phone, especially with the hardware. And this phone, while it is...
It's not it. But, I'd like to see what a full review of this would look like. Now, let's turn over to... We still have some more videos to get to. This is an example of a Sora video that is circulating the internet. And, for these things about the Sora videos, and some of them have been extremely realistic. Let me see if I can pull up another clip of this. This is obviously not realistic. But for a thing that has been circulating the internet, and some of the videos have been realistic. Like I said, once I can get to that high school fight quality level, then I'll, start commenting on that. I think they're almost on that level with some of the cameras and angles. I haven't really looked at these videos. It's just that, I have never believed anything that I've seen on the internet ever. Like, people have been faking news stories. They can take a screenshot of AP and write some text under and then get upset about it or whatever. People have been faking news stories for a long time. People have been faking photographs for a long, long time, right? Never believe what you see on the internet. They've been saying that for 20 years. So I don't understand why people are like, this is the last bastion. We're all going to die. When AI is just being used for stuff like this.
That nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now you can save $50 per person.
A Jet 2 holiday. Like what even is a Jet 2 holiday? Man, I'm going to show you maybe a more realistic Sora video. Let me see if I can find one. Here we go. Oh, this is from 2000 and no, that's not even realistic. But maybe we can look at them on the next episode. We have one more video to get to. This is real. Let's see what these Let's see what the teens of the online have think about dating. Let's switch over tab over here. Christian.
He's a Christian guy, but he doesn't have a job.
Okay. By the way, these are teenagers, so like, they may not even have a job, not because they haven't been looking for one, but just because they don't have one. Also, once again, how am I supposed to make videos like this without hiring? I mean, let's say I wanted to pay these people $20 an hour. Let's count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. And then of course the camera woman, and I think we missed someone. $400 right there. I'm not paying people $400. You know what $400 could get me? A year worth of ChatGPT Pro. Okay, and I'll probably get Sora in that too. Why would I hire you people? All right, anyway. So apparently this, if they stay, they're okay with him not having a job, and if they leave, then they're not okay. Which, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, especially when you're 15, 17 years old, they might even have jobs. And what are they expecting them to get a job for? Like I said, they are ripping you off. This is a rip-off, people. Absolute rip-off. I mean, they're expecting free stuff too? Goodness gracious.
All right, he's a Christian guy, but his best friend is a girl.
What are you people fleeing for? It's fine. Oh my goodness. These kids these days, my goodness. On to the next one. Why are they leaving? Wow. You do realize that there is a 98% failure rate here. So if his best friend is a girl and they've been best friends, I don't know how do you determine how someone has been a best friend? Like 2 years long? Let's just say 2 years. Right? 98% failure rate with you. Why would he ditch his best friend just to fail with you? Okay, there's 20 people here, actually 19. So none of y'all are getting married to any of these people here. You need to have at least have 100. So statistically, you're cooked.
All right, he's a Christian guy, but he's tatted. Tatted. He has tattoos.
Wait, can teens even get tattoos? These are teens, right? This is a youth group, right? Yeah, I think this is a youth group, so I don't even know how this is running.
They're all good with that. All right, he's a Christian guy, but he only texts you late at night.
I don't know why they're fleeing. Is there... I like all of them? Why are they fleeing? The Bible says to flee from evil. Is this supposed to be evil? I don't know what that is. I'm trying to find something on Reddit. Sorry. All right, there it is. Saved. We have to react to something.
I cleared out.
Nope.
He's a Christian guy, but he doesn't have a car.
What are you fleeing for? But he doesn't have a car. Okay, lots of people don't have cars. Walk. Jesus walked.
All right, he's a Christian guy, but he's shorter than you or the same height. Shorter than you or the same height.
They fled, and that's completely fine with me. Again, you know, have a selection that who you're gonna fail with next.
He's a Christian guy, but he wants to split the check 50-50.
What are you people fleeing for? Also, let's remember that most of them stayed for he doesn't have a job. Do they think this is Roblox? Do they think money grows on trees? Do they think money spawns out of thin air? Also, again, it's a ripoff. Oh my gosh, you're ripping you off. It's crazy, bro. Could you imagine just like paying for random people's food? Couldn't be me. Know your worth, she says. Yes. I don't have to put up with this nonsense. I put up with it for my fan. One fan.
It's another joke.
Yes.
All right, he's He's a Christian guy, but he follows Instagram models.
What are they fleeing for? What are you people doing? Stalking? Like I don't like to use this phrase, like stalking. Like you post it online where you expect no one to see it. Like that's not stalking. But like what are you people doing?
She is secure in herself.
Yes, she is.
He's a Christian guy, but you always have to open your own car door.
You got arms. Like what do you mean always? Like always? Like you drive to school, he's just supposed to be there, just spawn, standing there like as your personal Secret Service agent? Or like what do people mean by always? Oh, it's not okay. So, sorry, kids. Let's say you want to leave somewhere quickly. Okay, you're sitting in the passenger seat. He has to get out, open his door, come in. What, you guys are gonna sit there? You got arms, you got legs, use them.
That is not okay, bro.
You act like it's a sin to open your own door. Okay, bro.
He's a Christian guy, but he doesn't want to wait until marriage.
Well, at least they fled for this.
That's you.
Oh, finally. Okay, finally actually fled for something good. All right, hooping and hollering and crying over a dang car door. They all stayed there for a car that he doesn't have. So I guess, well, no, actually, it's her car. So I don't get how this is. Oh man, I guess I forgot to save the Reddit post. It probably wasn't important anyway. It's ridiculous. And speaking on the final topic of dating, and we'll do our will of names, and then I think we're done with this podcast. To our one fan, let's go read this thing on Substack. Sorry, over this on a new tab. Oh, you guys can't see the title. Who's writing these things? And then in the first paragraph, it's just that's to say it's proven right once again. These people want free food, free cars, free doors, or whatever. Quote: once when we were in Las Vegas, I watched strangers hand her chips to gamble with. They gave her cash she could keep if she won. One time she won $2,000. Thanked the man for letting her play and left to hang out by her girlfriends. Yeah, people just gave her money. And and then this woman also had another friend, Brittany Hugo Boom over here, and this friend, they gave her designer bags, drinks, gifts, expensive bags, and people just gave her stuff because apparently she's pretty or something. Well, you don't see me giving things out to random people on in the mall. Okay, you don't see me giving out stuff like that. And then this person has another friend who, according to her, is dead drop gorgeous, which. I mean, it'd be kind of mean if you're just writing an article. Nah, she's ugly. Like that'd be kind of mean. And no one gives her free stuff. Well, what a tragedy! What an utter tragedy this is. What horrible. What, you mean to tell me that people don't get free stuff for being pretty anymore? What has this country fallen to? Oh my goodness, no. And this entire article is basically saying that the ranking bell curve, you have ones, the camera's over here, ones to, I guess, threes over here, and then the bell curve 4, 5, 6, and then 7 to 10 over here. And they say that the 7 to 10s aren't getting approached as much because people are afraid of them, and I guess aren't giving them free stuff. RIP them. Woe is them. Man, I truly feel heartbroken for them. So essentially, it would be easier to attract someone who is, say, a 10, approach someone who is a 10 because they already have low options already. Is our article true? Maybe, but it does miss something out on the complex high school geopolitical dynamics. Number one, in these dynamics, they may not be getting approached because of maybe they had some intelligence that you didn't want to have leaked or something like that. Maybe they're not getting approached because they are in a rival group or something like that. So it's probably not, they're not getting approached because of their looks. I assure you that they are fine on that. It's just a bunch of, it sounds like coke to me. I don't know what this is. But you know, you're not gonna catch me giving out free stuff to random people because they were pretty or something like that. I mean, you have to at least have a skill or a talent or something that we can weaponize for our own gain. Anyway, God bless.